The following organizations have provided funding for this Into the Outdoors television series.
Ask anyone from the ages of 8 to 88 what's one of their best memories, and you'll likely get similar answers. It's fishing with family or friends. And maybe it's about catching their first fish when they were just a kid. Is that weird or what? No, not really. Why? Because fishing with family or friends combines the ideal mix of senses and emotions that make for memories that can last a lifetime. Outdoor adventure, fishing excitement, water, sharing nature with family or friends. Yep, it's the perfect combination for making cherished memories. And what could possibly make that ideal blend even better? How about fishing in America's last frontier, in the vast wilderness of Alaska's national forests? Let's join in a memory-making adventure there as we head far north into the outdoors.
Grab your gear and let's explore as we discover the wild outdoors. Science, discovery, it's what we do. You can make our Earth a bright and better place by joining us in this wide open space into the outdoors.
What do you think of when you hear the word Alaska? Rugged beauty? Vast wilderness? Cool wildlife? Mountain ranges that stretch forever? Well, if you've ever tried fishing, you should definitely think of the incredible fishing in Alaska. Whether it's the bounty and variety of what you can catch in the ocean there, or in almost endless possibilities on the thousands of rivers, streams, lakes, and ponds. Fishing in America's last frontier can be an adventure that combines all the ingredients into one memory-making package. Especially on your national forests there. Alaska has two national forests, the Tongass National Forest and the biggie, the Tongass National Forest, which is the largest national forest in the entire United States. How big? The Tongass National Forest covers most of southeast Alaska at just under 17 million acres. That's around the size of the state of West Virginia, making it the biggest national forest in the nation. It's also home to our planet's biggest temperate rainforest. This wild area offers home to wolves, eagles, moose, black bears, and yes, those huge brown furry things with teeth and claws, brown bears. And why do the brown bears get so big there? It's because they know how to catch salmon in the rivers there. Now, you'd probably think that our national forests are managed for, well, the forest, the trees, right? But in reality, the U.S. Forest Service manages your forests for the health of the entire ecosystem there. That's why their staff includes fish biologists who help manage the forest waters and the fish habitat there as part of the greater ecosystem.
So I came up here on the Tongass National Forest because I've always wanted to see Alaska, especially as a little kid, and come up here. And then once I did, I became hooked. Like, the mountains are big, the fish are big. You look at them and you're like, I want to be a fish bio. I want to learn more about these guys and study them and help protect their habitat. And that's when I went back to school and became a fisheries biologist and started working for the Tongass National Forest. It's just an incredible place to live and work. So the Forest Service loves our salmon habitat. So a really cool program that we have is our aquatic organism passage. So anytime a stream crosses a road, we have to put a culvert down, and there's about 3,500 fish culverts on the Tongass National Forest that we maintain and monitor. And sometimes we have to replace them because they can fragment the stream habitat. We also have a cool fish pass program where we bridge natural barriers and give access to upstream salmon habitat. Because of that program, we've increased salmon rearing and access to about 5.6 miles of upstream habitat and about 5,000 lake acres. And then lastly, we have a really fun restoration program where most of our watersheds here on the Tongass are operating at near pristine condition, but there's a couple that are not. And we'll go in there and we'll use treatment. We'll add wood or obliterate roads that are in the stream banks and things like that to help treat it to get it to that pristine condition. So salmon are so cool because they're anadromous, which means that they are born in fresh water and then they go out to the ocean for the majority of their life, but they come back to spawn and then die into freshwater. So it's a pretty remarkable life cycle and adaptation. The other cool thing I love about salmon is their colors. They come in stripes and polka dots and like purples and reds and greens, and they're not just silver like you see, but they're all different colors when you start to look at them. My top secrets for catching salmon is knowing what species you're targeting, because timing is really important. They come back at different times. Like Chinook salmon or king salmon can come back first in May, and then you can get them as late as like October for those fall coho runs. So knowing which species you're going after is really important. Some advice for coming up here to fish would be know what fish you're targeting and just keep in mind that timing. So kings come in first and cohos come as late as October. Or if you're gonna go freshwater fishing and target some trout, or if you're gonna go ocean fishing and target salmon and halibut. So just having some kind of game plan of what you wanna target when you come up here. What makes the Tongass so fun for angling families is salmon. I mean, you can't beat catching a salmon. They're just like this giant, beautiful fish that's full of yummy things that'll feed your body, and they're just a treat to catch. Fishing is really fun for families because you get to go out there in these harsh, sometimes undesirable conditions, but you're working together and you're gonna catch some fish and put some work on, and you're all doing it together and making these great memories. And then you go home and you get to process these fish together and put it up for later so you relive those memories as well, and then share them with friends and family.
With those Forest Service habitat programs, it sounds like the Tongass could be really nicknamed the America's Salmon Forest. When we return to the Tongass National Forest, we'll join one of those family fishing adventures in Alaska with 3 generations of family anglers. Let's head back into Alaska's Tongass National Forest and join a young angler with his mentor father and grandfather to test their luck and skill on what the forest's waters have to offer.
The forest that surrounds us here in southeast Alaska is very dependent on salmon, and without all that, to take them out of the food chain, the bears wouldn't have food, the eagles wouldn't have food, the trees wouldn't have food. Everything around us is all green because of rain and fish.
I'll have to give it to you.
No, I don't.
No? How come I'm fishing with your rod and you're fishing with my rod?
No, this is my rod. This is my rod. Oh, Daddy.
Yeah, I do.
So today we're chasing cutthroat trout, coastal cutthroat, dolly varden, which are a char, some rainbow trout, and some silver salmon. Between the 4 species, they're all very strong part of a healthy ecosystem, and without any one of those ones missing out of the ecosystem and out of the food chain, a lot of this stuff around us wouldn't be.
Oh, you lost it.
The system kind of varies. It has a lake in the stream system, and then as it comes down to the towards the ocean, there's this really slow area, so the water has a lot of tannins in it and stuff. The slow water provides a lot of food for trout in addition to when the salmon aren't here, so you got a lot of insect life. It's a very complete ecosystem. It's kind of a free-flowing system, and the salmon have free reign of it. Very healthy system.
A nice one. Grandpa, we got another one. That's a big one.
Whoa!
Smell first.
Oh, that's a big one. Bigger than that. Oh!
Watch out, you're
Look how pretty that thing is.
Yeah, that's a pretty fish.
Catch another one, Dad.
Family fishing. It was a tradition passed down from my father down to me, and it's been in our families forever. Being taught from my father was one of the utmost important things for me growing up. That's all I ever dreamed about was fishing, fishing, fishing. I started family fishing with Oliver probably when he was 2 or 3. Basically, you know, we started out conventional gear, push button, Snoopy rod type stuff, and started taking him out in the boat as a toddler. And he just picked up on fishing from the start and just can't stop.
There we go. I wish we had my kayak. My greatest memory about fly fishing is when I caught my first king salmon on the fly. It's fun to catch a king salmon because they fight really hard. It was like hard, so it'll move the reel when it's taking line, so you have to find the reel again, then you start reeling again when it calms down. And then I just start taking line again, and then I almost got in. So it was like making waves, and then I got it in.
Pull it out. Step over just a little bit. I'll cast a little more out, kind of towards the bottom of that log.
Ooh, I got something big on. There we go. I cast right in the middle. Look at it.
Yeah. Keep going.
There we go.
There we go. Oh yeah, ooh, that's a fat cutty. Yeah, it's a fatty. Look at that.
I caught him on an orange fillet.
Orange leech.
Yeah, orange leech.
Now want to release them?
No, I want.
What they're calling a cutty is actually a cutthroat trout, a species that's also common in some of our western mountain and coastal states.
Right here. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Oh, what are you doing?
Right when I'm pulling it up, it's biting. Fishing makes me feel like I'm super excited when I go out fishing. When I'm fishing, I'm always thinking that I want to catch a fish because it's fun to catch them. Oh, that's a nice fish. Dang, that's a big one. That's a big one.
Stay with us for more family fishing adventure in the wilds of Alaska's Tongass National Forest. Now, let's get back to that family fishing in Alaska.
Some of the things that make family fishing special, it's the time together. It's really good quality time, outdoors, away from technology and screens and all that stuff. Just enjoying life as simple as can be. Family values that is installed through fishing. There's teacher-mentor aspect to it. You're constantly showing what you know. There's a lot of trust that goes into fishing. When I'm wading out into a stream with my son, he's trusting me to get him into an area and out of that area safely. So you got trust. Family fishing for us is not myself, my kids, and my spouse. It's my father-in-law and my brother-in-laws. We all love to fish together. And it can be anywhere from fly fishing like what we're doing now to tackle fishing for salmon and stuff in the saltwater. It doesn't matter, it's all a lot of fun.
Nice trout though, look at that. The biggest trout of the day.
No, it's not.
Lasting rewards of fishing with the family, it's just the memories, the laughter, the camaraderie. Try not to overstate it, but it's quality time, family time. And as they always say, there's never a bad day of fishing, there's just a bad day of catching.
I'm just casting in the middle. Right when it hit the water, it bit.
What did it bite on? Okay, let's put it back in the water.
On the orange leech.
Another orange leech.
With Oliver, where I knew he was just absolutely had the bug was, he was 4 years old and we were fishing out of my boat. We're fly fishing for silver salmon. And I had just landed one. I'd set my rod down on the gunnel of the boat, so it was sitting there on the side and the fly was sitting there. And as I'm dealing with the salmon, we're keeping it, I just see a fly flip out of the boat and hit the water. And he's standing there, and next thing I know, he has a fish on. He just looked at me and just started just screaming. And I just knew right then and there that that was probably one of the most precious moments. Here in Alaska, we deal with the big salmon runs, so we get to see the life cycle from beginning to end. So it's really neat to share with the family.
Though it's true that salmon play a key role in Alaska's food web, let's decode the aquatic science of the largest part. Ever wonder why a salmon fillet is orange compared to the white flesh of a bass or walleye? The old saying, "You are what you eat," holds true in aquatic ecosystems. And salmon fillets get their color from something called a krill. Krill are these tiny orange shrimp, about the size of a paperclip, that eat ocean plankton. Despite being real shrimpy shrimp, they more than make up for that in numbers and are the largest biomass and food source in the ocean. So they're a huge part of the base of the food pyramid there, and all kinds of sea life eat krill, from 40-ton whales to 4-ounce baby salmon. Other small baitfish eat krill too, that in turn are eaten by bigger salmon, which in turn are consumed by all kinds of birds and mammals, from humans to eagles, foxes, black bears, and of course those huge brown bears that live near the coastal waters there. Now, let's get back to fishing in the Tongass food web.
Oh, what is that?
That is a dolly.
Oh, whoa, that's a colored dolly. Whoa, Grandpa, come over here. It's a pretty dolly.
What they're calling a dolly is the dolly varden. Though it's easily mistaken for and looks similar to a trout, the dolly is a member of the char family. Because the Tongass National Forest sits along the coastal temperate rainforest in Alaska, it rains often there. Pretty sure that's why they call it a rainforest. So, besides your rod and reel, be sure to pack your best rain gear when planning to fish in Alaska.
Oh, I had to tag again. It's right here.
Unlike some methods of fishing, whipping the line back and forth in fly fishing can at times create more than your share of tangled lines. One thing for sure, it builds patience. In fact, the whole process of passing on the family tradition of fishing requires lots of patience over time.
You're tangled, bud. You gotta be patient with them, and that's, I think, the most important part of carrying this aspect is showing patience so that way they can try to learn and enjoy and have fun.
See right there, when Oliver wets both hands before attempting to handle the fish? It's to help protect its skin. Do you wonder why they're netting those trout with the soft rubber mesh net? Similar to wetting their hands, wetting the soft net helps protect the skin of the thrashing fish. It's just one part of being a responsible and ethical angler. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us for more family fishing adventure in the wilds of Alaska's Tongass National Forest. Despite some of the challenges of fly fishing, in the rain, with trees and brush snagging your line, it's ironically those challenges that can offer greater personal rewards.
Fly fishing, for a lot of people, including myself, is a little more of an intimate way of fishing. You don't really have all the advantages of gears and whatnot in your reels. You're fighting a fish, it's pretty much you against the fish with the rod. It's more interactive rather than just kind of reeling and stuff. You know, you're doing everything by hand and playing the fish. And
That's a rainbow, that's a rainbow.
a lot of times too is for a lot of people it's a harder way of fishing, and so the challenge is what they really like. But for me, it's been my way of life ever since I was a little kid.
What I like about fly fishing is there's a lot of challenging parts when you have to learn. Like when you have to learn how to cast, you could get it will hit the ground when you first time. Like sometimes you'll hit the ground with your fly rod. Sometimes you'll hit the ground with like the line. It'll break the line. What's so fun about fly fishing is that if it's really good fishing time and they're really close by, and it's super hard to catch fish, sometimes you could get lucky and catch fish. That's what's fun about it.
And now for a short history lesson. Fly fishing is one of the oldest documented techniques of catching a fish that can be traced back to Roman history about 2,000 years ago. Japan, Scotland, and various European countries also adopted fly fishing over the ages. And how-to fly fishing books appeared back in the 1600s, including The Complete Angler, written by Isaac Walton in 1653. Besides putting fish in the fry pans of commoners, fly fishing even became popular among royalty, including King George IV. Things really took off for fly fishing here in America when Charles F. Orvis designed and began selling a novel fly fishing reel and fly designs in 1874. There you have it! Now let's see what fishing history Oliver and his dad are making on those streams in the Tongass National Forest.
Oh, that's a big, there's a big alive fish. There's a very big alive fish.
Really?
Yeah, I saw it. It's literally big.
This morning we found that there was still some spawning salmon upstream, and the trout up there were keying in on the salmon eggs, and so we were fishing a little plastic bead to mimic the egg, and in doing so caught a lot of fish.
Another rainbow, let's go! Look at the rainbows today.
Off he goes.
Daddy. The bead technique worked a lot.
Woohoo, rainbow!
My dad told me to go casting for a spot. There was a bunch of trout there. So then my dad told me to cast like at that log that was sticking out, and then I caught a bunch of them. One like 16-inch rainbow I caught like in a deep, really deep hole.
Ow! Here, I see him. I want to keep it.
This morning I was helping Oliver learn how to drift a bead to make it look realistic in the presentation. So an egg, when it's free floating in a river, it's bouncing along the bottom, and we tried to mimic that with technique by drifting the fly or the bead along the bottom, using a little bit of weight. and just trying to manage it so that it's rolling naturally down the bottom. A lot of times the fish, especially bigger fish, if they see something coming at them and it doesn't quite look right, they won't eat it. So trying to get the best presentation possible accordingly. And so that's what we were working on this morning, trying to get a good drift on the bead. Almost. Drift right along there. Oh, there you go. There's a nice little trap.
Now that you've seen how it's done, if you're considering trying some family fishing, or maybe even learning about fly fishing, Mike offers us some advice on pathways to participation.
Probably one of the easiest ways to discover a little bit more on fishing is just inquiring about it at your local tackle shop or fly shop. A good shop will always help you out and try to help you catch some fish in their day out enjoying nature. There's a lot of outreach programs done through everything from local fish and game departments to nonprofit organizations that are all about clean water and habitat and protection. A lot of resources today, a lot of ways to get into fishing. Just have to be a little open-minded and have a little curiosity as learning something new. Oh yeah.
So next time you consider a fishing adventure that offers some history, the promise of making special memories, understanding ecosystems, and the chance to discover someplace new and a few things about yourself, you don't need to travel to Alaska's Tongass National Forest. You just need family or friends, and maybe one of your nearby national forests. But come on, really, the Tongass would still be a very cool place to fish.
The following organizations have provided funding for this Into the Outdoors television series.